What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York, calling from the quarantine zone again, and this time we got Soulburn on Zoom. Thank you guys for your time today. We are here with Eric and Twan. Thank you.
Hey, man. Thanks for having us. Good to be here.
Thank you for having us, Alex. Nice to be here.
Yep, it's great to have you here. We have the brand new album, Noah's Dark, scheduled to come out this Friday. I can't wait for the rest of the world to really hear this music. I really want to know, what the thought process was making this album. Was there a preconceived idea? How did Noah's Dark really come to see the light of day?
Yeah, well, shall I start off with one? With the
composer
part? Yeah. The composer part. Well, actually, I started writing in 2019, in the beginning of 2019, with some ideas for the riffings, and I put them together in my computer, just recording the guitars ideas, and then I sent it to the WhatsApp. I sent it to the other guys here. Let it hear, the audio files, and they were really excited. And so from that point, we start building the songs, and from song 1 till song 10, there's a time span of 1 year. So the first song was in the beginning of 2019, and the last song number 10, was in the end of 2019. So that whole period, we spent time to create the songs. And something special mentioned, the order of the album from song 1 till 10, that's also the order the songs are written.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So we decided we won't hustle the songs, putting song 8 on position 2. So no, they were just when you hear song 1 and you hear song 10, there is a time difference from 1 year.
Wow. Did these songs maybe change a lot over a span of time in the course of writing it in 1 year, or is what we're hearing how these songs were originally written? I know they're in the order that they're written in, but from what we're hearing, are these songs, did they change a lot over a span of time in a year?
No, actually, really not. It was like I putting them together, the order, the arrangements and all, and the other guys were very happy with it, and they said, well, this is really a good foundation. Only Twan had changed two riffs, I guess in song 9. In song 9, the Godless Eye, Twan changed 2 riffs because they matched better to his vocals, and Twan wrote those riffs also. So we only changed the original 2 riffs, and we put in Twan's riffs for his vocals in that song.
Mm-hmm. So I find it awesome when people are listening to this album, we're hearing it in the order that you wrote it in. So the Morgue of Hope being song number 1, and From Actor On to Oblivion being song 10. Was that a preconceived idea to do that as well, or did it kind of just happen that way?
It happened that way. We just when Mark and Remco they composed the drums together. The beats on the riffs. So and when we had that done, the structure was there. Only not bass and vocals, but the basics were there, and we just played it in that order from 1 to 10, and Twan said, I really like this order, I really like this order of the song, so we let it this way. It was never the idea to do so, it just happened.
Yeah, it just makes sense, chronologically, made sense. Also, with writing the lyrics on top of it, when Remco and Mark did the drum arrangements on the guitar riffs of Eric, and I got the songs back, and I started writing the lyrics for the album. And I already had the title in mind when I heard the song with that very epical, melancholical, doomy intro on the guitars. Wow, this is it's like a mark, but it's also maybe a bit hopeful. There's also some uplifting shit in there. It's when this is the mark of hope, the words just came to me like that. This song should have this title. It's also a massive epical title for such an epical song. And the way the songs came in from 1 till 10, I just kept on filling it in to keep a constant pace of interest and of daring, of also like to keep that spark going on throughout the whole album. And I think we did a very good job with that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that do you consider this album to almost have like a underlying concept that like there is kind of like a story that should be followed throughout it, or can a listener maybe could this album also be fairly open to interpretation?
Yeah, you can see it from both sides, I guess, the way you mentioned. I mean, everything was written during the pandemic times. The lyrics came, and I was also inspired about this biblical feel about it, like Noah's Ark, the Ark where the big flood is coming to wipe away mankind from this planet, and now this COVID comes, to put mankind back on their place. Like we are so overpopulating this earth with our viral race, and we are dropping like flies now. And of course, it's a harsh, heavy situation, but it's also something that we had it coming, Mankind is so greedy and so always consuming more than we should. And we are taking so much of the planet than we should. And this is, I think, the earth and nature telling us, no way, guys, take a step back now. And that also came through, like this misanthropic feel, and about, I call it, like some sort of as a mirror to today's reality in the Bible. I also put in some satanic or like modern satanic aspects. Like I'm a real big fan of Nietzsche philosophy, and I like to work with those philosophical topics on economics, on sex and religion and everything, and combine them into today's reality. And on top of that, I also, because it's a very dark story, nobody's going to be saved in Noah's Ark. The Ark is not going to save mankind from. It's not going to happen. But I had some positive thing in it, and that's the satanic aspect, where I call it spiritual anarchy, like when you yourself can outgrow a divine, or a deity, or a divine being. You outgrow religion and become your own god, and responsible for your own sins or for your own deeds. I think there can be seen also a positive thing, like when you really go for yourself 100%, and like you're getting the best version of yourself. Only then you can also be really honesty good to others in the utmost best way to do that. And there's also some satanic glimmer in the lyrics as well. But I can't tell too much because it's like I have so many things on my head with those lyrics. I had some liner notes to every lyric in the booklet CD, and I leave some things open for interpretation as well. Like when you read a book of Nietzsche, you also can find your own truth in there somehow.
Yeah,
so
it felt like that when I read Voltaire for the first time and read Candide, because like that book is so messed up, but it's like there's people who find that Candide to be the most hilarious piece of literature of all time, but also some of the darkest literature of all time. So I find it's really unique how you create a concept that's open to interpretation, but it's also open to many different types of reactions as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's intriguing. That's what art should be. It shouldn't be all too bright and too black and white. It should be some mystical atmosphere around it. And I think this album really reaches that point.
It's meant to disturb the comforted and comfort the disturbed.
correctly.
Yep. Now, do you feel, obviously, these concepts determine the lyrics, but do you think that maybe if like this album was instrumental or something like that, do you feel that maybe the concept also dictates the music itself as well?
I think, well, the lyrics I wrote on top of the music. So I listened to the song, I listened to the atmosphere that it brought to me, and then the words came. First the title, and when I have the title for that song, this title belongs to this song. Like with song 2, I felt this groove and this like a bit of a horror movie theme thing, just like a groovy beat. I was thinking about vampires, how they move like Nosferatu and stuff, and then there came this vampiric tale on Noah's Ark, and it's spelled a bit different than the album title, but that song is like also puts on another aspect to the Ark of Noah, like when the Ark captured from all animals and all different species of male and female to save as lot of different species as possible. With vampires, if I bite you, you become like me. And if we bite more people, everybody becomes the same. There is also a loss of identity there, which you also see today at social media. And people just like, everybody's doing this duck face thing. Everybody wants to look like pop stars or rock stars. Well, the loss of identity is a very disturbing thing as well. Like, come on, you're just like, it's just like when you're, it is the flaw that makes the real you, right? There is no perfection. And the search for perfection leads to a very depressive emptiness. So I also captured that a bit in the Noah's Ark song. Yeah. And so in that point of view, the music really delivers the atmosphere for the lyrics.
Yeah, I feel like every invention of humanity is flawed because we are what we create, and what we are is flawed. So everything that we create, whether it's religion or government or even art for that matter, it's always going to have a flaw because we as humans are flawed.
Yeah, we are a living error.
Yep. I think we're just an accident.
Yeah. Too much brains.
Yeah, too much brains, and too much brains, and they were all applied to the wrong things in life.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, when it comes to creating a concept or really just creating music, is there like a lot of research that's involved into the making of the music, or do you guys like write about maybe also? Is there maybe some more personal experiences invested into the music as well?
Yeah, I want to add something personal to this album. I never talked it in interviews and stuff like that before, but basically I wrote the album that in the period that I lost both my parents. So maybe it has a little impact too, on the writing and stuff like that, like the atmosphere. I don't know. I think it has a big deal. It has a big deal with it, because it was a very dramatic period and stuff like that, So, but I have to add something in song 9, The Godless Eye. I did 2 solos in it. A bit at the end, the slow solos, and I did the solos exactly the same, but I told John Bart van der Wal, who was mixing the album, I told him, can you put the solos one to left and one to the right channel? And he said, well, yeah, it's better sounding when they are in the middle. But I said, but GB, it has something special for me. The first left one solo is for my dad, and the second solo is for my mom. So that's a little bit touch of a personal thing I put in this album, because it really affects you, like such period. But I'm really glad I did. So this album is also very special meaning for me too. When I play it, So yeah, it's really interesting question that you ask about something personal. So I just hook up in it, but I don't want to put it in the open, So it's more like for myself. But I really like to add it because you ask something. It's something personal, so that's why.
Well, I've always said that music is a language in itself. Whether you're a singer, whether you're a guitar player, or a bass player, or a drummer, regardless of what instrument, music is language. And I think whether you realize it or not, you're living in the earth. We are products of humanity, and we are products of the earth. So one way or another, whether it's your personal experience or through observation, I feel like it's going to influence you one way or another, whether you like it or not as well.
Yeah. I don't know. It's we're writing the riffs. I felt, but I don't want to be dramatic at all, but I just felt something, like, maybe it's that special touch, and I really hope I can do it more for the next album or so. So it's like holding it, like hold the feeling and stuff like that. But it's what you say. We are persons, and I think your the instruments we play, they are an extension of our being. Like we are persons. We have characters, and when we play our instruments, it flows through the instrument. That's what I think, when I play guitar, it's more, when I play guitar, I think that more the sensitive me is more into the guitar playing.
Yeah, music has the ability for you to express yourself, but also be something that you may not be without it. So I think it's really cool how you're able to address concepts of humanity, but also bring your own personal element into it. And I mean, when you look at the whole Soulburn catalog, when you look at Noah's Dark compared to, Earthless Pagan and, Suffocating Darkness and stuff, it has to almost be like representative or maybe like a self-portrait of who you guys are at a particular time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I think.
Eric. Yeah.
No, go ahead, Twan.
No, I wanted to say that you really hear it's growing to a more to the core of what Soulburn stands for. It digs deeper in the psychology of Soulburn with Noah's Dark, and because we're all also, of course, developing or how you say it, evolving as musicians, but also as persons. And also in connection and trust within the band itself, and you can hear that very good on this record.
Yeah,
you can hear it very good on the when you compare Suffocating Darkness to Earthless Pagan Spirit and Earthless Pagan Spirit to Noah's Dark. It's a very cool step deeper into the core of Soulburn.
Well, I've always thought.
I'm curious what it will bring.
I've always thought that you guys, maybe not so much sonically, but I've always thought conceptually that you guys kind of have like a similar element as Mastodon, because like Mastodon, they write about elements of history, but they also bring in their own personal elements into it, like Crack the Sky, which is probably one of the most famous albums to come out the last decade. That was a whole album about Rasputin, but it was also about Bron Daler's sister who passed away. So I think it's really interesting how when we look at history, it can also resonate with us personally.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think there's that connection is there. Like as persons and making music and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely we are not machines. It's not like can make a new album and we have to release it next year. We are not machines. So
and very important also, we are not a genre pleaser. We are not a typical death or black metal band. We really make music from the heart. What we feel, of course, it's going to be extreme metal always. That's what I believe. I think we're not going to make a fucking jazz album.
Never say never.
Do that.
Never say never.
Yeah, but it's not like a genre pleasing. We're not a genre pleasing band. I think we can speak to different people's interests and minds. I think, and just a typical guy or black metal guy.
Yeah, we are not like boxed. It's like you have two borders. You have this border and that border, and in between you are a genre band. But we also like to be a step aside, step aside that border explore new kind of things, but just stay by the core with the extreme metal. So that gives a lot of possibilities for us.
I always like that concept with bands. They are bigger than the genre itself. They're just that band, like Typo Negative. Also, yeah, what kind of music is Typo Negative? It goes it goes almost everywhere, but it's like a fucking unique band.
Yeah, you compare Slow, like Deep, and Hard to October Rust to Life is Killing Me. I mean, that band, that's evolution if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, but and every album just nails it.
Definitely. Huge shout out to Typo Negative. You guys ready for the most difficult question of the whole interview?
Just shoot at us.
Bring it on.
I want you.
Bring it on. Give it a shoot.
All right. You guys have been really, really good. So maybe you guys will be really good at answering this question, but I stumbled every band with it. How do you know when a song is done?
It's just a feeling. It's not. You're working at the song and you think this is a song. You just play it and you compose it. You put it together, But this is a really interesting question because I never thought about it. I never thought about a song like from start. Oh, I must go to the end. That it's a journey. You just start with it, and you're composing, and you put things together, and get the vibe done. But how you go to the end? That's the question. But I really like this one. It's I only can say it's pure the feeling. The feeling.
Yeah.
It's not like counting. It's not like counting the riffs like 4 times this one, 6 more, 6 times that one. Oh, I have to do 4 times because I have to stretch it a little bit. Oh no, this is not Soulburn. It's pure like this song is done, and if it's 6 or 7 minutes, so that's it. If it's 3 or 4 minutes, it's also so I only can say I don't know about Twan, but I can say it's pure the feeling.
All right, that was okay. Twan, can you top that?
So the question is, how can you tell when the song is done?
Yeah.
I would start with it. I will say this song will be 4 minutes and 16 seconds, and I will just write to it.
Really?
Yeah.
If you could really predict that, okay. Well, I'm just gonna say.
Then I already know from the start. This will be 4 minutes 16 seconds. Here we go.
Well, if you could really achieve that and get that on that type, you are officially the best songwriter of all time.
No problem. And you have fade outs, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's cheating. That's cheating.
But that makes it album so special because I'm thinking differently than Twan thinking. So we can put together.
We can put some jazz elements into it.
Yep.
And then finish the jazzy thing, and it can end anytime. So like, hey, 4 minutes 16.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah. Well, that's normally what happens. I remember seeing a local band one time, and they actually kills it. Like, they really got the audience into it. They really brought the audience in, and they wanted more, but they didn't know what else to play. They were done with all their songs. So what did they do? They just played the same, like, riff pattern for, like, 20 minutes straight.
Cool.
Yeah, it worked.
Well, you put the joint to it.
Yeah, it works. If it works, it's awesome.
Yeah. So before we go, I want to thank you guys so much for your time today. I really enjoyed this discussion, and I can't wait for the rest of the world to hear this amazing album. Is there just anything else that you would like to promote? Maybe like some live stream performances to support the release of it? Or obviously when this shit is finally over, can you please come to the US one day?
Yeah, we sure want to do it. I never played in the US, so that's definitely on my wish list. I really want to play there, and right now we are thinking, it's not ideal to put out an album in this period, but we just can't say how we don't do it. But we are thinking about playing the album in sort of place. We have to see where we do it. And just play the album from the first till the last song just live for streaming or something, People can stream it and stuff. So that's really nice to do, just to play the whole album just like you put a CD on or the vinyl on and just play it like that till the end, you know. So we're really thinking about that to do that in a very creative way. You have to be creative now. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much, everybody. We are here with Eric and Twan of Soulburn. Be sure to check out Noah Star coming out via Century Media this Friday, November 13th. Buy it then when supplies last forever. We'll see you next time on Heavy New York.